Jam.
Submitted the approval of the Barefoot Society. I call this video The Tale of the Bunion. Let's get to work. Good vibes for Palo Santo. What's good, work pack? It's Jam T.J, LPTA, here with All Work No Play. I hope everybody's doing okay. I know we're being boxed in and locked in and shut down because of the coronavirus, but don't fret, my friends. We're here to correct some things. You know I'm all about barefoot exercises. You know I'm all about foot health and trying to get things together for our feet, for longevity for our feet. Did you know that we were born with no shoes on? Trick question. You know, with people always telling you that you need to wear shoes all the time, it's definitely for aesthetics. I love sneakers. Don't get me wrong, I love sneakers. And it's also for pain, because we are accustomed to walking on very tough terrain and very rough terrain and uneven surfaces and things of that nature. So we need to protect ourselves, and we need to also be aware of our foot health. So today, I thought I would talk about bunions and bunionectomies. Why do people feel like bunions are gross and bunions are unattractive? Well, bunions are it's a very cosmetic thing. And the reason why the bunion happens the way it is because there's a bursa within inside of the big toe, of the great toe. And when that toe is crammed into a shoe, high heels, tight shoes, when you're doing sports and always running, your toes seem to curve into the other toe to make that bunion or that bursa, that sac, that synovial sac, pop out. Some of it causes pain, some of it doesn't. A lot of people, especially women, they actually get bunionectomies, where they actually go in and they have to fix the toe, and they put rods in to make sure that the toe stays straight. Now think about this. Surgeries, I'm with surgeries when it actually is a must that you need to do a surgery, but any time where you can actually correct it with PT, choose PT first. Go to therapy first to fix it. If you're worried about cosmetics, be aware and be very conscious of the consequences that will come after the surgery, especially for a bunionectomy. Okay, bunionectomies, I actually have one. I'll show you in the video, later in the video, when I show you some exercises for you to minimize the symptoms and to also strengthen your foot, so that way your bunion doesn't get worse, and just to also keep the foot health and maybe give you some gyms that I could drop in for you. Don't forget your TheraBand. Now the TheraBand, it depends on the strength that you have in your feet. So gauge it. Usually level 1 is yellow, level 2 is red, level 3 is green, level 4 is blue, level 5 is black, level 6 is gold. But other places they have different ones. Like this one here, purple. I think purple is level 8. So depending on what type of resistance that you're trying to use, make sure that it's gauged to something where you can use it and you can use it adequately without hurting yourself, okay? So let's cut to the wood floor. All right, you see my toes here? These are my toes. Now you see, let me see there's a little bunion there. I have one myself. And that's from all of the years that I actually wore tight basketball shoes when I played. And I always wore my shoes in the house and I never took them off. So my toes generally, and with anatomy, they started to curve in. But since I've been doing these workouts for the past, I don't know, maybe 5 years now, my toes, I don't have pain in this foot at all. And this right foot here, which even though I'm dominantly right-handed, I jump with my left, which made me put a lot more pressure on my forefoot to actually put more pressure there. That actually caused this bursa to be exposed or to actually protrude. So I have my TheraBand, and I'm gonna actually twist this up to show you guys how to do this with it so that you can do the exercise. But first, I'm gonna give you a series of little exercises that I do first. I kind of do this with my patients. It's actually toe raises and heel raises. This actually helps to warm up the shins and to warm up the calves, which would be the gastrocs and the soleus, and of course the tibialis anterior. And it'll actually help warm up the hallucis adductors and abductors, and also all your muscles that you have here, the peroneus longus, peroneus tertius, peroneus brevis, all those muscles that go and intertwine with your feet. There's so many muscles. I'll actually show on another side, but I do this with my patients for them to actually bear weight into their toes to actually get a good response, a good neurologic response for them to initiate weight bearing. So, and this also helps out, like I said, blood circulation too. So you're gonna lift the toes, lift the heels. Now you see that I'm putting weight through the toes there. Just like that, it warms them up. Warms up the heels, warms up the shins, warms up the calves, and that's always a good one. So do that one about 15 to 20 times. 2 reps at least. All right, you see how my TheraBand's tied? Okay, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna actually put this over one toe here, and you're gonna slide it to the other toe. Now, regardless of what side you're working on, this is actually working on the abduction of your toe. So abduction is gonna be spreading apart. Adduction is actually bringing the toes inward to go to your other toes. So we're gonna do the hallucis abductor exercise or adductor stretch. So you're gonna go here, have your feet out, your knee, okay, feet out, knees in, and you're just gonna simply pull out, boom. Now when you do this, make sure your toes are trying to grab onto the floor. And you go back in, you go back out. And this is actually gonna create that space in between your great toe and the middle finger toe. So this is actually good because creating that space actually gives room for your big toe to not try and overlap on your other toes, which could cause a hammer toe or it can cause them to overlap, and that'll cause you a whole ton of problems, okay? We want to keep that spacing in between your great toe and your second toe, okay? So you can even progress, go out, you could hold that position there to cause that stretch of the adductor, which inside of that big great toe. Look at that. Look at the spacing on the right toe. Look at that spacing, and that's due to the stretch of the TheraBand. And you see this side where it actually has the bunion, this actually does the same thing. You can hold that stretch there, and that's a good stretch. Bring it back to the middle, pull them out again, boom. You see how my feet are actually trying to claw into the wood there? That's what your feet are always doing anytime you're weight bearing. There's so many little muscles that are within the foot, and bones, I should say too, that they're constantly moving. They're constantly helping us with our balance. They're constantly helping us with just our equilibrium whenever we're walking, so we can actually feel the ground we're walking on. So this is such a good one, the hallucis adductor and abductor stretch. You can even take this off. You can put marbles on the floor. You could spread your toes out to try and grab them and pick them up, and then try to put them somewhere else. Same here. Try to flay, extend your toes to where you're doing a full gait of, or the full heel toe pattern. Heel down, boom. Arch, forefoot, toes, where you're gripping. Try to grip the floor. So, with the toes, you have to always be very mindful of what you're doing with your toes. Shoes are very great, but shoes, they take the sensation of what you should be feeling on the floor to actually get that response, to actually help you to move. Like I said, the shoes take that sensation away. The shoes actually give us power to walk on heat or hot and cold surfaces, prickly surfaces, rough surfaces, smooth surfaces. It takes that dynamic away. That's why you see all the shoes that came out with sort of barefoot-like shoes. It's because they're trying to get you to where you can feel the ground beneath you, so you can be more in tune, because it helps out with your ankles, helps out with your knees, helps out with your hips, and it also helps out with your back when you are barefoot. Sometimes whenever I do lower body exercises, I go and do the lifts in my socks, or when I know I'm gonna do lower body and I'm gonna go hard lower body, I wear low shoes. I don't have a shoe with arch. I'm already flat-footed as it is, so I'll put shoes on that do not have an arch. So that way I can actually feel more of a sensation for my foot, my ankle, my knees, my hips, and my back to actually work more to get a better return on my investment, to also strengthen my ankles. I've had so many ankle injuries that sometimes I have to do things barefoot. The first time I come into the house, I take my shoes off, I walk around the house barefoot or in my socks. I know we can't really do that in gyms and places because of cleanliness and hygiene. It's pretty nasty. So wear double socks when you do lower body exercises, okay? Just to be mindful, because whenever you strengthen your feet, like I said, you strengthen the ankles, you strengthen the knees, you strengthen the back, you strengthen the hips. Like, it's good. It's such a great thing to do things with flat shoes when you're doing lower body. That way you feel the sensation, okay? You can look this up and research it too. I've done a lot of research, and I've actually done it a lot for myself, and it's actually helped me great. It actually helped me in a great way to rehab my last ankle injury that happened about 5 years ago, okay? Doing a lot of barefoot activity, the greatest thing ever for me. And I know a lot of my coworkers and a lot of my PT colleagues would say the same. Barefoot is a great thing to do. You know, when you can actually get a good shoe that can actually conform to your foot and perform in such a great way that your feet don't feel fatigue, and they don't hurt, and that your feet aren't so tight, and they actually have room to breathe, and you can wear them for hours at a time, that's a good shoe, okay? But at the end of the day, kick those shoes off. Let your feet breathe. Let them feel the earth. That's where we were born out here with no shoes and socks on. Let them feel it. Don't let the shoe industries change your mind frame about it. They're great shoes, I'm not gonna lie. But the best thing you could do for your feet, for your knees, for your back, and for your hips, go barefoot, all right? That's one video from the Barefoot Society. Hopefully there's nobody that has a name that for the Barefoot Society, but that's just only the title for episodes when I strictly talk about the feet. It's Jam T.Jay with All Work No Play. Like and smash the subscribe button. Pass this on to your friends and family. They could definitely benefit from this channel, especially for the older population, probably our parents and our grandparents that are ashamed and afraid to show off that bunion. Show off that bunion, all right? Show it off. Strengthen it first. Don't get the surgery yet until it becomes too bad, okay? I don't want you to get the surgery unless it becomes bad, okay? All right? Stabilize before you mobilize. And y'all please be safe with the coronavirus out there. Take the proper precautions. Cover your cough, cover your sneeze, mask up when you walk out. Okay, I know the shutdown, I know the lockdown, but we should tighten up our precautions and do what we can for all of us healthcare providers, we know what we have to do, and we know what we have to do to protect the patients, our staff, our families, and our friends. So take the proper precautions and be very mindful. Self-educate yourself, do more research, so that way we are not ignorant to the situation, okay? Stabilize before you mobilize, and let's get to work, all right?